From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Nwawodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, gunmen kidnap paramount ruler of Mbo in Akwa Ibom State. Meanwhile, the police in Kaduna killed 2 bandits in Kuriga community. Former PDP governorship aspirant in Osun State, Dotun Babayemi, and other party bigwigs to camp to the All Progressives Congress. And former PDP governorship aspirant in Osun State decamped to All Progressives Congress. As we told you earlier, President Bola Tinubu names Intracore as a lead developer of Nigeria's Green Industrial Zone, just as he appoints Ajurin Gelale a special envoy on climate action. And rescue teams search for Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi as his helicopter makes a hard landing during the adverse weather. Majesty Ogwong Okong Abang at his palace in Ebu. The police public relations officer of the command, ASP Tifon John, who confirmed the incident, said the Commissioner of Police, Wahid Ailara, and other service commanders, including the Commissioner for Internal Security, have moved down to Mbok Local Council to assess the situation there. The abduction is coming a few days after medical doctors decided to down tools over the kidnap of their colleague, Dr. John Robin Esu, who is still in the kidnapper's den nearly 3 weeks after. Only last week, the wife of the prominent political figure in the state, Chief Asukwo Okon, was also abducted in Oron. Meanwhile, in Kaduna State, operatives of the mobile police team recently deployed to Kuriga in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State by the Inspector General of Police have killed 2 bandits in the area. Disclosing this in a statement, the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, says the police operatives on Friday responded to distress calls of an attack on farmers by the bandits on the outskirts of Kuriga village. On arrival, the security forces engaged the bandits in a fierce firefight during which 2 of those criminals were killed. The police operatives also recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 17 rounds of ammunition from the scene from the bandits in the course of the gun duel. Receiving the report, the governor of Kaduna State, Senator Ubasani, commended the Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, Ali Dabigi, as well as his officers and men for their swift response and the successful intervention which led to the killing of the bandits. Well, a fresh wave of defection is being witnessed in Osun State as the All Progressives Congress, APC, welcomed a large numbers of People's Democratic Party, the PDP, into its fold, where the former governorship aspirant of the platform of the PDP, Prince Dotun Babayemi, and the former national deputy chairman of the PDP, Shoaibu Yedokun, were among PDP bigwigs admitted into the APC at a ceremony held at the party's secretariat in Osogbo, the Osun State capital.
The All Progressives Congress in Osun State is playing host not just to its members, but to a large crowd of followers of the People's Democratic Party who are joining the APC movement. The crowd of supporters surges to catch a glimpse of leaders of the party and other notable decampees as they arrive in the open field of the APC Secretariat. It's some sort of fanfare and reunion of political bigwigs serving in the various capacities at the state and federal level. The former National Deputy Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Shoaibu Yedokun, and the former PDP governorship aspirant in Osun State, Dotun Babayemi, are among influential politicians handed the APC insignia as they publicly decamp and pledge allegiance to the APC.
members that are in the campaign. We must not discriminate. We must integrate them into the system. They are one and the same. The way it should be. It's different between progressive and conservative.
Each of these top former PDP chieftains are joining the APC along with their teeming followers.
I have conscience. I don't want people to be cheated. I don't want injustice. They have been seriously humiliated in and I therefore
the Atutu Osun movement was started as a grassroots movement, right? We have presence in every single ward, in the 332 wards of the state. And what we're looking to do is to integrate that infrastructure. And that has started today.
The APC leadership considers this development as a big boost to the party's growing influence and relevance in Osun State.
When you see the quality and caliber of politicians joining us, you will see that we are ready to chase out the leaderless government of Adeleke come 2026 by the grace of Almighty God.
APC faithful believe that the latest defections will not only increase the party's followership in Osun State, it will also front a united and formidable movement against the People's Democratic Party at all levels.
The Northwest chapter of the All Progressives Congress has passed a vote of confidence on President Bola Tinubu for his efforts at fulfilling his campaign promises to the citizens, especially in the areas of security and development. The members gave their position at the end of the chapter's inaugural stakeholders meeting in Kaduna State, which was meant to take a critical stock on the state of affairs of the party and how to reposition it ahead of the 2027 general election. The meeting was chaired by the coordinator of the Northwest APC Governors Forum and Governor of Kaduna State, Senator Uba Sani.
The zone has been playing a critical role in determining the electoral fortunes of our party. The zone builds up some of the most articulate, resourceful political strategies in Nigeria. What happens in our zone is of primary interest to other zones in Nigeria. It is for this reason that we must at all times take a critical look at the health of APC in Northwest Zone, with a view to addressing challenges and repositioning it for future electoral battles. I urge us to always adopt a consensus approach to the resolution of pressing issues. It is a win-win approach that helps in building and sustaining peace and unity. We must, however, pay serious attention to internal party democracy. When we operate according to the Constitution and guidelines of our party, friction will be lessened and litigation will be reduced.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives is preaching about party unity and reconciliation and the need for all APC stakeholders to support President Bola Tinubu's administration due to his magnanimity to the Northwestern Zone.
I have never seen this kind of love and support that any administration before has ever given to the Northwest. And this is a food for thought for us, honorable colleagues, distinguished gentlemen. That to whom so much is given, so much is also expected of you. It is our own turn to appreciate Mr. President, to appreciate our party by ensuring that we do everything humanly possible to bring dividend of democracy to our people, to ensure that insecurity that has been deviled our zone is brought to its logical conclusion. And finally, also, to ensure that 2027, we double our efforts, double our contribution in ensuring that APC does well in every ward, in every state, in every local government.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of the Infrastructure Corporation of Nigeria, Infracorp, as a lead arranger and developer of Evergreen City, which is Nigeria's green industrial zone. This appointment, according to a statement by the Special Advisor on Media to the President, Ajuri Ngelale, is in line with the President's commitment to ensuring industrial development that meets the demands of the present and the future of the country. The corporation, led by its Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Lazarus Agbazo, will, among other things, be responsible for the selection of partners and consultants to undertake critical development activities and raising private funding for the development of the city and constituent projects. The President has also approved the establishment of the Presidential Steering Committee on the project Evergreen, the supervisory technical working group to oversee the pioneering endeavor. The committee is to be chaired by the Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Action, Ajuri Ngelale. The President has charged the team to drive this critical project with a clear objective of making Nigeria the leading manufacturing hub in Africa for renewable energy technologies, green solutions, and climate adaptation technologies. Meanwhile, the federal government, through the presidential CNG initiative, says that it is set to revolutionize the transport sector with cleaner energy, training and upscaling 25,000 auto technicians. In addition to this training, a conversion incentive program has also been rolled out to incentivize the purchase of CNG conversion kits for the smooth transition. Our correspondent Olu Phillips reports.
The removal of subsidy on petrol, which for many have thrown up possibilities of inflation, pump price increase and distortion in daily living, is still a talking point within national discourse. Touched by those concerns, as we have been told, the President says he will make compressed natural gas CNG the new fuel for mobility in Nigeria. So from PowerPoints to possibly action point, the promoters of this gathering want early adopters of the CNG scheme. These people are your hook, and they are the various transport unions, the mechanics, retrofitters, and investors. To catalyze the process, CNG and electric vehicles have been procured by the federal government, by the Federal Ministry of Finance, and a delivery of 590 buses is expected in the first phase of the program over the next few months. It is divided into 520 dual CNG and petrol buses and 65 EV buses.
We are mobilizing the private sector, development funders, ECOWAS Bank of Industry and Development, Development Bank of Nigeria, Bank of Industry, even commercial banks are on queue and waiting and willing to finance this effort. And we'll be rolling this out for the benefit of the sector.
CNG buses will be deployed to 23 states where there is CNG, while electric vehicle buses will be delivered to states where CNG is not currently available.
This is what fake kits.
Clarifications were also sought concerning safety, CNG refilling stations, conversion of PMS vehicles, standards, and training.
Every cylinder would have its own unique identification number that you tie to the car. Any car that is getting converted, your conversion cylinder, the car registration number, even your license plate, everything will be linked to it. So you can just see a cylinder number and straight away you know that it's for this car.
Nigeria generates an estimated 36,000 tons waste annually. 10,000 vehicles are required daily to convey them. CNG, we are told, will reduce the cost of this mobility by half.
If we know what we are reducing, we know the quantity of fuel we are consuming before the CNG, you can calculate this, we can get carbon credit, which you can use to leverage the investment we are looking for towards this area.
Nigeria has CNG in abundance, and we are here to use it appropriately. We also have LPG from the liquefied petrol, from the petrol mining. That one has there's a lot of international control on that too, on pricing. CNG, we can locally control the pricing.
If over 10 million vehicles in Nigeria sign on, granted all the parameters are in place, Nigeria may well be headed faster into its decade of gas aspirations. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLEA declares India-based Nigerian couple
faith.
There's a lot of fear in the journey towards building wealth, especially in an ever-changing economy like ours. And you know why that is? It's because navigating the world of investments without facts and insights is like walking in the dark. But that fear stops now. Opportunities open up to you when you have a trusted guide. Someone with over 28 years of experience advising individuals, corporates, and governments to achieve their dreams through strategic and well-timed investments. That someone is AfriInvest. The journey of 1,000 miles is easier when you have a trusted guide and partner who knows the way. So, take the first step. AfriInvest. Simplifying investments, creating wealth.
Where's Glory?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello? Where's Glory now?
Are they here?
No, Glory, don't go village. Tell all our customer, Abi.
Everybody pay attention. See, now Glow dedicated 10x. Now he might take tension my customers. Now they dash me 10 times the credits when I load. Or even summer me double data join.
Yeah. Wait, so with 1.5 when they give all of us, so you they enjoy up to
15,000 naira credit and data. And I say I never finish you. See, when I say if we enjoy, if we not join Glow dedicated 10x, when I go get 1,000 naira welcome credits. Finish. Glow, you don't win.
Una see they here. Hello, please, I'm looking for Glow. Please save now Glow with they fine. Now Glow with they go. Okay, so
enjoy 10 times the value of your recharge on Glow Berekete 10X. You also get 1,000 naira for calls and data and double data bonus on your subscription.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
You can now print all your essential items for events without even having to leave your home. It's the Cash Print Combo Deal for all events.
Yes!
Weddings, conferences, birthdays, burials, etc. Starting from 495,000 naira only. You get 50 invites, 50 A2 size posters, 50 16-page brochures, 1 large backdrop banner, 1 roll-up banner, 50 jotters with pens, and 50 souvenir carrier bags. Whatever event you're planning, we can adjust to your budget and quantities. Just send your pictures and other information through WhatsApp, and we shall send a design for your approval. Approve your design, and we will produce with super high-quality digital print technology. We can even arrange delivery to your location. Call us now on 0913-156-5016 or 0812-794-9323 or visit our social media pages. Cash Prints, digital printing at super speed.
on my dark marks, I've tried everything. Nivea Lumina 630 works from day one with visible results in just 2 weeks and 71% dark marks reduction in 12. Join the 1 million women already using Lumina 630 from...
Responsible for securing the Transforcados trunk line are appealing to the federal government to renew the surveillance contract on their region to ensure that they keep their jobs. In a gathering at the creeks, the workers commended the Navy for collaborating with them to secure the crude trunk lines, asking the federal government to do all it can to ensure the gains recorded so far in the fight against oil theft and pipeline vandalism is not put to waste.
Residents here say one of the gains of the federal government's pipeline surveillance contract to indigenous security outfits in the Niger Delta region is the reduction in the incidence of youth restiveness, unemployment, and militancy. For many years now, the region has experienced a level of relative peace, especially with the engagement of locals in the fight against oil theft and pipeline vandalism. Some of these locals make a living from the surveillance job, but the fear of losing their source of livelihood has brought them together.
As you can see, we are grassroots. The people are community people that are doing the job. Those strangers brought from anywhere are cut across the 22 communities in the Urobo. They are mainly people from the place that they have been engaged to do this job, and we have been doing well with them. And we are appealing that they should continue to, federal government should continue to engage pipeline infrastructure to see that this peace and the safety of the pipelines continues, because I believe ever since we have been working, they will also attest to it that the production so far has improved. Thank you.
When I was talking about years. I just want to let them know since 2018, we have been on this Transfacados pipeline. We don't, no problem on the line. The tribe, before, you know, because of this bunkering and the Shekiri and the Jollies get fracas. But since OMS and pipeline infrastructure came into this line, we don't have quarrel again because we work together. We are all brothers.
We have, because a lot of people are on the line. Because you know this oil theft, the little space you give to them, they do havoc. And so a lot of workers are on the pipeline. And they want to also give kudos to the Nigerian Navy because they have done a lot to support pipeline infrastructure to secure the pipeline.
Addressing unemployment, youth restiveness, and oil theft remains critical for the Niger Delta, and the workers' plea points to the importance of the surveillance contracts in sustaining the community's socio-economic stability.
According to the United Nations World Food Programme and its partners, nearly 55 million people in West and Central Africa will struggle to feed themselves in June to August 2024 rainy season right here in Nigeria. Well, the forecast may be similar. The most recent food inflation statistics reveals that average food prices have risen by 40.53% relative to what it was in the month of April last year. Tonight, Babajide Ogunsanwo, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst, is here to share more insights about this. Hello, Babajide. It's good to have you on the news at 10.
Good evening.
How would you interpret the latest inflation figures? I mean, the statistics. How bright is the light at the end of the tunnel, if there is light at the end of the tunnel, actually?
I think for most Nigerians, light or no light, they just want to get out of the tunnel. But with respect to and with reference to inflation, there are different ways to look at it. Summary tonight was that we'll be talking about the good news on inflation based on these statistics, and clearly there's some bad news. But before we take a look into the good and the bad news, and today as well, it's now just 2 decades shy of 3 centuries. I'm talking about that year, 1742. On this day in 1742, the Celsius thermometer was invented by the great inventor Jean-Pierre Christin. Now, you might clearly ask, what does this have to do with inflation? Anne, for one moment, just imagine if we could measure the temperature of the bank account of the common man. What do you think it will read?
Very hot.
And that's exactly what these inflation numbers show, especially food inflation. The bad news is food inflation right now, based on the report we've seen, compared to what it was this time last year, on an average, 41%. For a lot of Nigerians, especially for the common man, depending on what you are buying, some items have significantly gone above 41% compared to last year. Bad news. However, there's some good news. Based on this same report, they show that the NBS, based on the surveys, show that food inflation in the month of April compared to March was 2.5%. And that's the best, in simple terms, that's the slowest rate at which food inflation has gone this year. But the question on the lips of most Nigerians, Anne, is, what is causing inflation? And I'd like us to take a look at the data, because the data allows us to clearly understand the causes and how we can even fight the cause of the causes. And if we take a look at that important number released by the National Bureau of Statistics, comparing food inflation in April to March, they say food inflation within that month, March to April this year, grew by a little over 2%. However, that growth was primarily because of food and non-alcoholic beverages contributing to 52% of that number, and clearly housing, water, electricity, and clearly fuel contributing to another 17%. So in summary terms, the challenge we have that is leading to this inflation is right in front of us. Food, non-alcoholic beverages, and the essentials. House rents, water, electricity, and gas, and cost of buying petrol. So clearly, if we can manage those causes and indeed manage what is causing these causes, so it's food, but what then is causing food? We're looking at imported items, we're looking at low production, we're looking at the challenges faced by farmers, we're looking at the means of small-scale production, which should have upscaled into commercial agricultural production. So we need to not only look at the causes that are in front of us, we need to look at what I call the causes of these costs.
But how much is inflation affecting the ease of doing business in Nigeria?
Inflation is playing a big part, and that's because one of the ways the central bank is trying to manage inflation is to regulate the lending rate, the cost of borrowing, which is also making it even harder for businesses to produce and to even compete. Let's take a look at what has been the monetary policy rate from the central bank within the last decade, because it allows us to clearly understand the problems and we then can discuss the solutions. This time, a decade ago, 2014, the monetary policy rate set by the central bank was 12%, and even then, businesses were complaining that the policy rate, a benchmark lending rate, a proxy for the lending rate of 12%, was extremely harsh for businesses. That was in 2014. Fast forward to the situation we are in today. We are not at 12%. We are not even at double what it was in 2014. We are at 24.75%. As at May 2014, no business could have imagined that a decade onwards we'll be in a situation whereby we'll have a monetary policy rate at 24.75%. So the challenge today is, when will we even get back to the rate of 2014? Is it going to take us another decade to get back to that 2014 rate that several businesses felt was not good enough? That is the problem. Now, Anne, let's talk about the solution, especially even the solution as recommended by the United Nations, the World Food Programme, about how Nigerians and other countries can fight it. And that statement is coming from the United Nations, talking about economic challenges such as currency devaluations, soaring inflation, stagnating production, and clearly trade barriers have worsened the food crisis affecting ordinary people across the region, with Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Mali being among the worst affected. So clearly we need to keep an eye on our currency, stagnating production, and trade barriers. We clearly need to be able to remove these bottlenecks to be able to also reduce the rising prices of food. But beyond that, there are a lot of other things that we also need to understand with respect to food inflation, and that is that majority of Nigerians spend their money on food. And
so we've talked about business and how it's affecting it. Is there any connection with food inflation and insecurity, especially in the northern region? Are there facts?
So most times, there are no clear facts, but what we understand is clearly insecurity has been used as the boogeyman. The truth is, the inflation rate is a proxy for hunger rate. The hunger rate is a proxy for frustration rate, and frustration rate is a proxy for crime rate. Let's take a look at some of the statements, not just coming from United Nations. Let's look at the statement coming from the Defense Headquarters, which reference to Nigeria's food inflation. And clearly, that statement and the point has been strongly made, which is bullets will kill terrorists, but there's no bullets that can kill hunger. And so let's not stop. One of the ways to fight inflation is to make sure that food is affordable for the people. In the final analysis, and we need to take a look at the chart of the week because that talks about hunger, the politics, and the economy. We're going into 1 year of President Tinubu's management of the economy, but what Nigerians are asking is, what was the situation 1 year before President Tinubu came in? And those numbers are in front of us, looking at food inflation. Food inflation, average food inflation under President Buhari in his last 1 year in office, the National Bureau of Statistics tells us 20%. The numbers shows that food inflation under President Asiwaju in his first 1 year of office, 27%. So, and the question is, will you rather live in Buhari's last 1 year or Asiwaju's first 1 year? And in the days, we'll come and find out.
Days will tell. All right, thank you very much, Babajide Ogunsanwo, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst, for your interesting insight into
More of this analysis coming on May 29th.
All right, we'll be waiting. And still ahead on the news at 10, rescues search for Iran's President Brahimi Raisi after his helicopter makes a hard landing during adverse weather. We'll bring you the details. Please stay with us.
Investing in the capital market can be tricky as the numbers move in different directions. Sometimes the bull bellows, other times it's the beer that pours. In all of these, an investment decision has to be made. On Capital Market, we help you take the right decision. Join us at 7 p.m. every Saturday, only on Channels Television. Capital Market, investment tips for you. Stay connected to the world with Channels TV Podcast and get all the trending stories. Simply log on to channelstv.com, click on podcast, select the program of your choice, and listen. Our podcast is available on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Tap the expertise you trust. Touch the stories that touch you. Anytime, anywhere.
As the central bank has withdrawn its decision to deduct levies of cybersecurity. A circular signed by the bank's directors of payment systems management and that of the Department of Financial Policy and Regulation is asking all commercial, merchant, and all non-interest banks, as well as other financial institutions, to stop the withdrawal forthwith. The CBN, in a circular dated 6th of May 2024, mandated all banks, money mobile operators, and payment service providers to implement a new cybersecurity levy following the provisions laid out in the Cybercrime Amendment Act of 2024. Again, the central bank has now withdrawn its decision to deduct levies of cybersecurity. In a bid to ensure more students complete secondary education in the northeastern region of Nigeria and improve their academic performance, the Northeast Development Commission has now launched the Accelerated Senior Secondary School Education Program, ASEP. The program was launched by Vice President Kashim Shettima in Bauchi State. He stated that the education indices in the northeastern region are unfavorable across various sectors, including education, and there is a crucial need to embrace a uniform policy to address these challenges. Our correspondent Hajara Aliyu reports.
As the saying goes, health is wealth.
The Accelerated Senior Secondary School Education Program is an intervention support program initiated by the Northeast Development Commission due to concerns over poor enrollment into secondary schools, shortage of qualified teachers, and challenges in the post-primary education segment, including inadequate infrastructure and low admission rates into tertiary institutions. The Vice President, assisted by other governors of the region, launched the program. The NDDC highlights the 3 key objectives of the program aimed at improving enrollment into tertiary institutions, enhance skills development, and elevate the quality of teachers.
ASEP will pay special attention on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics
and plus agriculture. That's why we have STEAMA now, which foster creativity and critical thinking. It motivates and inspires young people to generate new technologies and ideas to learn from inquiry-based tasks.
The Vice President emphasizes the need to address the gaps in the education sector.
The consequences of our failure are done and are reflected in all indices we use to assess our nation's progress. We in the Northeast occupy bottommost positions in various rankings of social services and benefits, with education being a key sector of social dysfunction.
The state governors are committed to the success of this initiative.
Every state will deploy the full support of government machinery to support the various asset activities. Across our states, local government and communities work to raise awareness and mobilize our students to participate and benefit from the opportunities that ASEP offers.
In line with the requirements for implementation of the program, we have taken the following measures. A, identify 3 schools, one of each in our senatorial district to serve up our STEM centers. A comprehensive needs assessment will be conducted on these centers, and relevant support will be provided to ensure that they are equipped with the state-of-the-art facilities, including ICT facilities, internet connectivity, entrepreneurial and other laboratories to facilitate effective STEM training.
Amidst various challenges, stakeholders are optimistic that this initiative will reverse the negative trends in senior secondary education. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News. The UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator in Nigeria, Mr. Mohammed Fall, is asking all generations of citizens in Nigeria and the African continent to wake up to their responsibilities. According to Mr. Fall, in an exclusive interview with Channels Television, the older generation may have done their bit, but they owe the younger generation support in their efforts to fulfill their roles and move the nation and the African continent forward.
What makes me happy seeing across the continent this vibrant youth engage in this respective area, I was saying, at least one thing is clear. They understand that this is their call. This is the call of their time. The same way for our fathers, their call was the anti-colonial struggle, the anti-apartheid struggle, and generation after generation. And that gives me also hope that situation might be dire. As I say, the road might be very steep, but we just keep with the hope and seeing also these young people, their force, their drive, their innovation. And by the way, that's one of the part of the things what people never talk about in Nigeria. The ability to innovate that is in this country is almost unique in the continent, and I can say in the world. The cultural dimension and production in this country is almost unique. The private sector, there are so many areas that if you look at them, give you hope that this country have a potential of really completely shifting the needle. And the role that UN give itself is how to accompany those young people in their aspiration, how to accompany the country on its aspiration, how to really harness all this potential and all these opportunities that are out there, and just to stop looking at only the challenges. In every of these challenges, there is an opportunity that can help this country to play its role. And what I call the role of Nigeria is to be the leader of this continent and to be leader in the global stage.
For more on this interview with Mr. Mohammed Fall, please watch Newsnight tomorrow, Monday at 9 p.m. on all Channels Television platforms. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have declared a couple, Kazim Omogoriola Owalade and Rashidat Ayinke Owalade, wanted following the arrest of 4 members of a syndicate in Lagos. The couple were declared wanted after the arrest of Imran Taufik Olalekon and Ishola Isiaka Olalekon on April the 3rd, 2024, following their bid to export 3.4 kilograms of cocaine on a Qatar Airlines flight going to Oman through the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. According to a statement by the NDLEA spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, during a search at the home of one of the arrested partners, operatives of the NDLEA recovered phenacetin, which is a cutting agent for cocaine, weighing 900 grams. His arrest led to a follow-up operation at the home of the Owalades, where another suspect was arrested and a new model Toyota RAV4 SUV was recovered, and an additional 400 grams of cocaine are also recovered. In the same vein, LDLEA officers of the Directorate of Operations and General Investigations attached to a courier firm in Lagos intercepted 2 parcels containing cocaine and amphetamine concealed in steel bolts and shea butter. While the cocaine weighing 587 grams was concealed in 8 steel bolt screws going to China, the amphetamine consignment packed in vape pens and hidden in shea butter was going to the United Kingdom. The Kaduna State government has commissioned a drug abuse community recovery center to cater for people suffering from drug abuse and behavioral disorder at the community level. Commissioning the center in Ogwan, Maichibi in Kaduna South local government area, the Secretary of the State government, Professor Abdulkadir Mayere, warns against stigmatization of people with mental disorder.
Worried by the prevalent cases of drug abuse, especially among youths and women in Kaduna, and its negative impact on human productivity and social development, the state government has established a drug abuse community recovery center at Agwan Meishibi in Kaduna South local government area. The center, which is equipped with 2 6-bedroom wards and 5 2-bedroom rooms and other facilities for the rehabilitation of drug abuse victims, has been identified as the first in the country.
It is no surprise that in tackling human capital development head-on, we are also prioritizing addressing issues related to drug abuse and mental illness. And in doing that, we're also prioritizing community-based approaches.
I'm certain with this project by the Kaduna State government, spearheaded by His Excellency Senator Obasani, Kaduna State stands to be the only state I know in Nigeria that has this kind of projects.
The center is expected to engage the services of psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, nurses, and social workers who will provide various services to the patients. Commissioning the facility on behalf of Governor Ubasani, the Secretary to the Kaduna State government is optimistic that the center will cater for the people suffering from drug and substance abuse, as well as behavioral disorder at the community level. He adds that 3 more centers will be commissioned before the end of the year.
The establishment of this center is a testament to Governor Obasani's steadfast commitment to addressing the mental health needs of our citizens.
With the establishment of the center, persons suffering from mental disorder and related issues now have an opportunity to seek help at the community level and subsequently live a fulfilled and meaningful life again.
Over 20% of the people with drug use problems complain that they don't have access to care and treatment services. And that's actually what informs centers like this, to make care services more accessible to the people of Kaduna State.
The establishment of the Drug Abuse Community Recovery Center underscores the commitment of Governor Obasani-led administration in prioritizing mental health as a way of building a resilient and productive population.
Health matters now. The Managing Director, Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Samuel Obuku, has announced that its annual free medical mission currently ongoing across communities in the region will now be carried out quarterly to cater for the healthcare needs of underserved residents. Mr. Obuku disclosed this during the official flag-off of the free healthcare medical mission in Bayelsa State. Well, he says the NDDC is currently taking inventory of the condition of health facilities across the region with a view to carrying out major interventions.
is the official flag-off of the Free Healthcare Medical Mission of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, here at the Cottage Hospital, Otuasiga, in Ogbea local government area of Bayelsa State. The NDDC Managing Director, Samuel Ogboku, is here with some directors of the commission to observe what the medical team is already doing. The NDDC Free Medical Mission, which is revived by the current governing board, brings quality healthcare closer to the people, like these women who have just gone through surgeries.
They operated me and here today. I want to thank the NDDC. I want God to promote them, God to give them long life and prosperity.
I was on labor, so I couldn't give birth and do tears for me. And my baby is okay. I'm okay also. And I'm so happy for what I'm seeing. Everything is free. I didn't buy a pin.
In the theatre, doctors and nurses are carrying out surgeries for different ailments, just as other healthcare services are being rendered. At the brief official flag-off ceremony outside, the NDDC Managing Director says the current board and management of the interventionist agency will continue to give priority attention to healthcare as a key component of its mandate.
As a commission, we know that it's not everybody that is resident in our rural communities that can make their way to the urban areas or who are privileged to have access to medical facilities outside the rural communities. It is not only building schools, hospitals, and roads, giving you electricity. But what we realize is even some of the hospitals we build, most of these hospitals, they don't even have the manpower to run them. So we thought having these field operations would also help the communities.
With over 330 surgeries carried out in 4 days, the NDDC Managing Director says the week-long program has been extended and announces other changes in the medical mission.
Based on the fact that we have limited more days to go and looking at a crowd that is yet to benefit, we had no choice than to extend this by 1 week. So I think it has been extended by 1 week so that I can carry more persons. And since we have been doing it annually and looking at the success, I've decided that we're going to be doing it quarterly so that at least it will be something that will bring in, government to the people.
Highlights of the event include the distribution of the delivery kits to pregnant women and the provision of 500 decent hygiene packs to boys in commemoration of the International Day of the Boy Child.
The Oba of Benin, Omonobanedo Ukwapolopolo Ewari II, has taken custody of 2 looted royal stools from the German government. According to the historical records, the bronze and wooden royal stools called Ekete, which were made during the reigns of Oba Esoye and Oba Esige several centuries ago, were taken from the palace during the 1897 invasion by the British government. Handing over the returned artifact to the Royal Palace, the Director General of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Mr. Olubile Holloway, says the commission will work closely with the palace to preserve the Benin culture and its heritage. In his response, Oba Ewari II lauded the efforts of both Nigerian and German governments for the gesture.
A stool made of bronze and a wooden stool. For us, this symbolizes a gesture and a step in the right direction. And I think I speak for everyone on my team when we say we remain loyal to the royal court. And if there's anything we can do to continue to support this laudable cause, this heritage is not just Benin heritage. It is Nigeria's heritage.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to say so much now, except to thank you. You can see that we are overwhelmed by this presentation. May God Almighty and our ancestors be with you, be with all of you.
And in the world of sports, Manchester City are champions again, winning a historic fourth straight English Premier League title. City created English football history, beating West Ham 3-1 on the final day of the season. Phil Foden scored twice, and Rodri was also on target as Pep Guardiola's men sealed their sixth title in 7 seasons, condemning Arsenal to second place again. The Gunners came from a goal down to beat Everton 2-1. Newcastle missed out of European football despite beating Brentford 4-2, while Manchester United won at Brighton 2-0. Burnley lost at home to Nottingham Forest, and Chelsea secured a 2-1 win against Bournemouth. In other results, Crystal Palace thrashed Aston Villa 5-0, and Liverpool edged Wolves at 2-0. Meanwhile, Luton were relegated following a 4-2 loss to Fulham. Their defeat meant that all 3 clubs promoted last season, that's Burnley and Sheffield United, were all relegated to the Championship. Rivers Angels head coach White Ogbonda has praised his team's determination in securing a point against host Bayelsa in Nigeria's Women Football League Super 6 playoff. Rita Peters' 84th minute equalizer ensured they earned a point after Feintola Bokonje had scored a penalty in the 54th minute over Bayelsa Queens. Coach Ogbonda is expecting a better result when they face Edo Queens, and that game will happen on Monday.
I'm happy that we are able to salvage a point in today's match, but the result wasn't what we actually needed, because our target is to ensure we get these 3 points at stake. But by the end of the day, we were unable to get 1 point, but we are lucky at least to equalize the goals and share the point between we and the Bayelsa Queens. So I'm happy. My take home in today's game is that we need to work a little bit harder. We need to work harder. The players need to step up their game, and from what we saw today, they need to step up their game for us to be able to make it to the final and get the ticket.
Let's turn our attention to tennis. Edem Effiong is looking forward to playing at her 5th Olympics. That game should happen in July. The 37-year-old secured her ticket to Paris after a 4-2 victory over Tunisia's Padua Garci at the African Olympic qualifiers in Kigali, Rwanda. Having made her debut in 2004 in Athens, Effiong is hoping to make Paris her best outing.
It's very important because I've been working towards this. I am so overwhelmed. It has been a very difficult months and weeks because I have to wake as early as 6 a.m. to join the bus to go for practice. I am so glad that I qualify. It's a big thing. Olympic is a big event, and I'm going to participate in my 5th Olympic.
Meanwhile, Fatima Bello and Olajide Omotayo are also aiming for a good outing in Paris after securing their ticket. 26-year-old Bello qualified for her first Olympics after defeating Algeria's Alinda 4-2 in the final round, while Omotayo strolled past Congo-Brazzaville's Saidi Dewu in 4 straight sets to book his second appearance. Zverev has won his second Italian Open title in Rome following a 6-4, 7-4 win, 7-5 win over Nicolas Jarry. The German comfortably beat the Chilean in 1 hour, 41 minutes, dropping just 5 points on his serve. Zverev's title in the Italian capital was his first since coming back from an ankle injury, which he suffered in the 2022 French Open semi-finals. An Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says signals have been detected from the helicopter and mobile phone of a member of the flight crew aboard the crashed helicopter carrying the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and his 2 members of the government. Commander Asha Abbas Golizadeh was quoted as saying just a while ago, "We are now moving to the area with all military forces, and I hope we can give good news to the people." Countries have been offering assistance with search of the helicopter, which hard landed hours earlier today. A search has also been suspended as weather worsens, but ground searches by the Red Crescent are still ongoing.
It's been a harrowing few hours since the helicopter carrying President Ibrahim Raisi last made contact, informing of a possible hard landing. The helicopter, one of 3 traveling in a convoy, made the hard landing after it got into difficulties in heavy fog in the north of the country. President Ibrahim Raisi and his entourage were headed to the city of Tabriz in the northwest of Iran after returning from an Iran-Azerbaijan border area. The president was said to have been seen before boarding the helicopter. The helicopter crashed close to a copper mine called Sungun, located in between Jolfa and Rezekhan in the East Azerbaijan province of Iran. The Red Cross deployed 40 separate teams as quickly as possible after reports of the hard landing, but have had to suspend air searches due to inclement weather. They have, however, kept ambulances and rescue buses on standby as the unfavorable weather worsens. State television earlier reported that the helicopter had been found by one of the rescue teams, but the report was retracted minutes later. State television earlier reported that the helicopter had been found by one of the rescue teams, but the report was retracted minutes later. It would be a second for the Red Crescent, which had also earlier reported that 3 of its workers had gone missing during the search. It retracted that as well. Countries such as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Armenia have offered assistance with the search. The European Commission has activated satellite mapping service to aid search efforts following a request from Iran. The European Commission's Copernicus Emergency Management Service provides mapping products based on satellite imagery. The local weather office says the area where the president's helicopter went down is expected to keep seeing rain and dense fog through the night, while Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has asked the nation to pray for the health of this group of civil servants and that the Iranian nation must not be concerned or worried. He says there will be no disruption in the work of the country.
And the main news again. Gunmen have kidnapped the paramount ruler of Mbo in Akwa Ibom State.